This is Aloore Radio, the voice of Oyo State.
Lóòótọ́ àlùkà wà ní ẹrù Olódùmarè ni ló fi jẹ́ pé àlùkà wà ní téèyàn bá ṣe lórí òdodo Olódùmarè tó lẹ́rù náà ní bá ní gbé àgbẹ́kẹ̀lé ìṣèjọba omi tuntun tí ń bẹ nípìnlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ èyí tí gómìnà Ṣèyí Mákindé ń darí nìyí ló fi jẹ́ ọgbà tí ìṣèjọba yìí ti gorí àlééfà ló ti gbé ìlànà ìṣèjọba olóko mẹ́rin kalẹ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ ọ̀fẹ́ ìwòsàn ọ̀fẹ́ ìgbélárugẹ ọrọ̀ ajé ohun ààbò tó gbópọn lára àṣeyọrí ìlànà yìí ní gbígba iléèwé gíga yunifásitì LAUTECH fúnpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ owó ìrànwọ́ fáwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ọmọ òfin àwọn akẹ́kọ̀ọ́ gbàwé ọ̀fẹ́ ó sì tún gbolùkọ́ síṣẹ́ ìwòsàn ọ̀fẹ́ ní tìbútòrò ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ nípa kíkọ́ ilé ìwòsàn alábọ́dé sí wọ́ọ̀dù tó dín ní 300 níye àtúnṣe àwọn ilé ìwòsàn tó ti wà tẹ́lẹ̀ òun ilé ìwòsàn alágbèéká kọ́rọ̀ ajé ìpínlẹ̀ wa lè rú gọ́gọ́ sí a ṣàtúnṣe àwọn ọ̀nà tó ti wà tẹ́lẹ̀ a sì tún la tuntun Ìṣẹ́yìn sọ́yọ́ Ìṣẹ́yìn sógbómọ̀ṣọ́ Ìṣẹ́yìn sókè ò Ṣakí sọ́gbọ̀rọ̀ àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ ìgbélárugẹ iṣẹ́ àgbẹ̀ òun ní ojú pópó tó mọ́lẹ̀ rókoṣo ẹ̀tọ́ àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ àtòṣìṣẹ́ fẹ̀yìntì òsì tẹ̀tì ààbò sì dúró ore nípìnlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ báwọn ọdẹ onípàkúté ò tiẹ̀ sinmi pàkúté wọn ń dìdẹ Olódùmarè tó lẹ́rù ń bá ìṣàkóso ìgbẹ́rù rẹ̀ gómìnà Ṣèyí Mákindé wá ń dúpẹ́ fún àtìlẹ́yìn gbogbo wa nípìnlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ lágbára Olódùmarè ibi ire lòkè yìí ń gbé wá rè ibi ire.
Ilé-iṣẹ́ ètò ìròyìn àṣà ohun ìrìn àjò afẹ́ tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ló ń kéde.
A very wonderful morning to you out there. You're welcome to Newspaper Review on Aloore Radio. Today, the 8th day of August 2023. We are transmitting from GSM Studio at the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism, Secretariat Agodi, Ibadan. My name is Olukemi Omotosho. I have with me two Nigerian dailies, the Nigerian Tribune and the Nation newspaper. The first story I'm going to take is from the front page of the Nigerian Tribune. It says, new ministers, why Senate withheld El-Rufai, two others confirmation, with the rider that says Alake, Wike, Tunji Ojo, Pate, Betta Edu, 40 others confirmed. Keyamo scaled through after apologizing over disrespect to Senate. The story can be found on page 16 of the Nigerian Tribune. And I also have this one that says ECOWAS to meet on Niger Thursday. That is coming from page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune, with the rider that says Germany threatens coup plotters with sanctions, prosecutions, and anxiety diversion of foreign flight may lead to airfare increase. Also, I have from the federal government moves to end multiple taxation, and the rider says it causes low tax morale, discouraging investment, creating room for corruption. Presidential Fiscal Policy Chairman. The story can be found on page 6. And I have this one that says nomination open for 2023 Obafemi Awolowo Leadership Prize, coming from page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. Also on education, WAEC releases 2023 May-June WASC results, withholds results of 8 states. That is coming from page 27, still on the Nigerian Tribune. Electricity, over 7 million customers still on estimated billing reports. That is coming from page 7. And on page 5 of the Nigerian Tribune, NAFDAC scales up efforts to eliminate fat linked to heart disease, diabetes in food supply. On politics, no plot to impeach Deputy Governor Obaseki. Alleged court action preemptive move ahead of his defection to APC. That story can be found on page 15 of the Nigerian Tribune and have this pictorial. It says, emulate Jakonde's selfless service. Sanwo-Olu, Oshoba orders tax political office holders as NG holds memorial lecture in honor of the late ex-Lagos State Governor. The picture is having the Nigerian Guilds of Editor, Mr. Eze Anaba, Alhaja Abimbola Jakonde, the Deputy Governor Lagos State, Dr. Obafemi Hamzat, and the Chairman Publisher of Vanguard newspaper, Mr. Sam Amuka, Mr. Seyi Jakonde, and the rest from that picture. If you're interested, you can turn to the front page of the Nigerian Tribune for that picture, but the story is on page 4. I'll quickly move to the front page of the Nation newspaper. The first story I'm going to take says, security clearance delays El-Rufai, Okotete, Danladi, with the rider that says, Senate okays Keyamo, Bagudu, Umai, Edu, Alake, Beta Edu, 39 others. And I want to serve in national interest, Wike writes PDP. That story, of course, can be found on the front page of the Nation newspaper. And I have no plot to impeach Shaibu, says Obaseki, court action preemptive. This story can be found on page 28 of the Nation. I sold job for 1.5 million naira at federal agency, says ex-worker. That story can be found on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. Sanwo-Olu, Nwachukwu, Adenaike extol Jakonde. The story can be found on page 3. Federal government uncovers 44 multiple taxes in bills. The story can be found on page 7, and still on the Nation newspaper, sit at home flops. That is coming from page 28. WAEC withholds candidates' results from 8 states. Of course, that can be found on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. With that, we'll go on a short break. To be back for the details, please stay tuned.
Iṣẹ́ Olúwa kò sẹ́ni tó iṣẹ́ Olúwa jù tàfà lọ. Lọ́lọ́run ọba fi gbé àga. Lọ́lọ́run ọba fi gbé àga ò lẹ́bí ń bínú.
Ọlọ́run jẹ̀dá lọ. Tá a bá rẹ̀ ni tá a kórìíra. Tá a wá fẹjọ́ ẹ̀sùn Ọlọ́run wípé kó má dépò. Tọ́lọ́run wá gbégbé ẹni bẹ́ẹ̀ dépò tán. Èèyàn gbà fọlọ́ ni o. Kí ló dé? Ẹni tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ ọ̀tá ọ̀lẹ, abiyamọ ọ̀tá àgàn. Wọ́n ní pàkúté ọ̀tá ẹni ègbódò ọ̀yà. Ká mẹ́yìn lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ ọ̀tún mẹ́yìn lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ òsì. Ká fẹ́yìn ní délùú sẹ́yìn ẹni tí ò ní yin ni ò ní yin ni. Ẹ pé gómìnà Ṣèyí Mákindé ò ṣe nǹkan kan kò ṣe nǹkan kan. Pẹ̀lú àfojúsùn òpó mẹ́rẹ̀ ẹni tó gbé lọ́wọ́ tọ́lọ́ ń sìn fún un ṣe lọ. Akitiyan Ṣèyí Mákindé lójú ọ̀nà ètò ẹ̀kọ́. Ó ṣe káńsù ẹgbẹ̀rún mẹ́ta tó bí ń san lórí ọmọ kọ̀ọ̀kan. Ó ṣe ẹ̀kọ́ dọ̀fẹ́. Ó pínwé ó tún yàrá ìkàwé ṣe. Bẹ́ẹ̀ ló falẹ̀ ẹ̀kọ́ gíga LAUTECH padà di tìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. Ètò ìlera ńkọ́. Àtúnṣe pẹ̀lú pípèsè ohun èlò fún ilé ìwòsàn alábọ́dé. Ẹ wo laboratory tó wà nílé ìwòsàn ní Ọ̀yọ́. Àwọn ọkọ̀ ambulance gbogbo wọ̀nyí ńkọ́. Ìgbìyànjú Ṣèyí Mákindé lórí ìkétò ààbò lè mú dán nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ńkọ́. Ó pèsè ọkọ̀ fáwọn agbófinró kí wọ́n máa fi yíde patrol ní tìbútòrò ìpínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. Operation Boss tó kó fún wọn láyé tẹ̀ ìwéré ilé àtàgọ́ rẹ̀. CCTV camera lójú pópó Ìbàdàn. Commissioning of Mobile Squadron Units lágọ̀ rẹ̀. Ṣé wàá dà bẹ́ẹ̀ kẹ́ ẹ máa gbéṣẹ́ yìí ò ṣe nǹkan kan. Nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ wa ìtẹ́tọ̀ ọ̀gbìn náà wọ ìjọba gbà. Ó ṣàgbékalẹ̀ farm estate lákòókò. Èrú àti awẹ́ lábẹ́ òsádà. Ó tún fẹ́ gbẹ̀rún lọ́nà ogún àgbẹ̀ léso kí wọ́n gbìn lóko wọn. Ó mójútó ìdókòwò tó lè máa pawó wọlé fún wa nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. Asphalt àti quarry plant níjàyè. Gbogbo ẹni tó ń ṣe sí ọ̀fọ̀ ilẹ̀ rẹ̀ báyìí nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́ ní kíákíá ìrọ̀rùn ló ń bá dé o. Ẹgbẹ́ gbẹ̀lẹ́gbẹ̀ owó tó gbé kalẹ̀ fún dènà COVID-19 nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. Bó ṣe ń faná ló ń ṣọ̀nà ló ń ṣomi. Owó oṣù òjà àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ yàmọ́. Bẹ́ẹ̀ làwọn òṣìṣẹ́ fẹ̀yìntì ń gbẹ̀tọ̀ wọn déédéé. A ní ẹ̀rìn gbòòrò wò kẹ́rì iṣẹ́ tí Ṣèyí Mákindé ń ṣe ẹlẹ́ẹ̀ráyè. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́. Ṣé wàá rí báyìí pọ́lọ́wọ́ kan tẹ̀nu? Ẹ kí sáwọn tẹ̀m̀bẹ̀lẹ̀kọ ẹ̀dá tí wọn kì í ráṣẹ yọrí ẹlòmíì. Ẹ jẹ́ gbárùkù tí ẹnjìnìà Ṣèyí Mákindé kó kẹsẹ̀ járí. Lójú pọ̀nà àfojúsùn òkú mẹ́rẹ̀ẹ̀rin tó gbé lọ́wọ́ yìí. Ẹ̀yin ará bí ẹ fọ̀ tẹ́lẹ̀.
Ẹ ò gbọ́dọ̀ o, fàjà mi àgbẹ̀ máa lù.
Ìkéde ìwá láti iléeṣẹ́ ìròyìn àṣà àtìrìnàjò afẹ́ nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀yọ́.
You are welcome back to Newspaper Review on Aloore Radio. You can like and share on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Aloore Radio. On YouTube, it is Aloore Radio, and our website remains www.alooreradio.com. Of course, you can call in on 09039853731, 09039853731. The first story I'm going to take in details is on page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. Anxiety in Nigeria's aviation sector over closure of Niger Republic's airspace. The closure of Niger Republic's airspace has started taking its toll on foreign airlines operating into Nigeria as the military junta in the crisis-ridden country has cut off the airspace. The closure of the West African country's airspace has affected foreign airlines flying in and out of the sub-region and forced them to divert their flights, a development that may lead to fare increase on the international routes. The only Nigerian airline operating into Niamey airspace had before the coup suspended flights into the country. If you're interested in that story, you can turn to page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune. Anxiety in Nigeria's aviation sector over closure of Niger Republic's airspace. And still on Niger Republic, MBF warns Tinubu against interference in affairs of sovereign nation. The Middle Belt Forum, MBF, has warned Nigeria under the leadership of President Bola Tinubu to guard against deliberate interference in the affairs of a sovereign nation, saying that the coup in Niger Republic, which drew sympathy from the Nigerian masses, called for caution. It will be recalled that the General Abdulsalami Abubakar-led delegation dispatched by the Nigerian president were not granted an audience to the delegation, while the military junta severed diplomatic ties with Nigeria, Togo, the United States, and France over their condemnation of the pursuits. In a statement signed by its National Publicity Secretary, Dr. Iswa Dogo, the MBF said, considering the action of the Nigerian people to support the military takeover, it is clear that the planned deployment of troops within the Nigerian borders by the Algerian armed force predicts dark days ahead. It further posted that President Tinubu's letter to the Senate had ignited rumors that the possibility of engaging the coup plotters is already concluded, adding that informed analysts have cautioned against starting a war that could lead Nigeria into an unpredictable dilemma. If you're interested in that story, you can turn to page 3 of the Nigerian Tribune for the rest. Niger Republic, MBF warns Tinubu against interference in affairs of sovereign nation. And of course, I'll quickly run to the page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune. It says, federal government moves to end multiple taxation. The federal government has concluded plans to put a stop to the astronomical increase in the number of taxes, levies, and multiple revenue collection agencies that have led to disruption of many businesses in Nigeria. Indication of this emerged at the 153rd meetings of the Joint Tax Board (GTB) with the theme Harmonization and Codification of Taxes at the National and Subnational Levels, Key of Achieving a Tax-Friendly Environment in Nigeria. It was held on Monday in Abuja. Giving a clue to what is in the offering, Chairman Joint Tax Board and the Executive Chairman Federal Inland Revenue (FIRS), Mr. Mahmoud Nama, said harmonization is to bring together and eliminate multiple taxation. The mandate of Joint Tax Board (GBT) is to see that this happens. We are lucky to have a new administration that has indicated interest from day one to eliminate multiple taxation. For the rest of that story, you can turn to page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune. Federal government moves to end multiple taxation. And on page 7, I have on electricity, over 7 million customers still on estimated billing. A total of 7,017,809 electricity customers are still on estimated billing despite various interventions by the government to bridge the metering gap. According to the 2023 first quarter report released by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission (NERC), The report noted that out of 12,378,243 registered customers as of March 31st, only 5,336,434 have so far been matured. It also noted that in the quarter being reviewed, a total number of 171,107 users were metered. Although this represented a slight increase compared to the 164,621 customers record in 2022 fourth quarter, the metering rate is still at 43.31%. If you are interested in that story, you can turn to page 7 of the Nigerian Tribune. Electricity, over 7 million customers still on estimated billing. And I'll go to page 8 on Oyo News. Truce as Makinde addresses reaches compromise with Oyo workers. Truce was brokered between Governor Seyi Makinde and the leadership of the Labour Centres on Sunday evening, with the governor also yielding to the workers' demand by publicly addressing them at Secretariat on Monday morning. Activities at the Secretariat had been paralyzed throughout last week, with the protesting workers blocking the entrance and exits of the Secretariat, demanding that the governor should address them over their demands. The cause championed by the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) and the Trade Union Congress (TUC), the workers demanded payments of salary deductions, palliatives for workers, upward review of pension allowances, payments of leave bonus, payments of gratuity to retirees who had been stagnated since the year 2021, and release of promotion letters for the year 2021 and 2022. The governor had broken the ice on Saturday night when he made a broadcast promising to pay the 2 months deduction owed the workers with their August salary, while asking the labor unions to come to the negotiation table on the other issues. If you're interested in that story, you can turn to page 8 of the Nigerian Tribune. Truce as Makinde addresses reaches compromise with Oyo workers. And going to page 13, still on Oyo State News. Oyo farmers hails Makinde as Oysada begins distribution of farm inputs. Oyo State Governor Mr. Seyi Makinde has been commended for the gesture extended to farmers across all the 33 local government areas in the state. The farmers who are residents of Ogbomoso South, Surulere, and Orire local government area axis of the state received their farm assets on Monday at the secretariat of their respective local governments. The farm assets distribution by Oyo Cares in conjunction with World Bank under the Oyo State Agri-Business Development Agency (OISADA) is one of the commitments of Governor Seyi Makinde towards assisting the farmers in the state that were affected by the COVID-19 pandemic in order to ensure food security across all the geopolitical zones of the state. If you're interested in that story, you can turn to page 13 of the Nigerian Tribune. Oyo farmers hail Makinde as Oysada begins distribution of farm inputs. Still on agriculture, federal government taxed farmers on hygienic poultry products. The federal government taxed poultry farmers on the need to produce, process and market hygienic products. The Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, Dr. Ernest Umakohai, gave the charge while inaugurating and handing over a modern live bird market built by the federal government to Delta government at Ibusa in the state. Umakai, represented by Mr. John Onovore, State Coordinator F. Famad, declared the project through Mr. Ben Agama, Permanent Secretary, State Ministry of Agriculture and Natural Resources at the Delta State Agriculture and Rural Development Authority, DARA, Ibusa, the project site. If you are interested in that story, turn to page 13 of the Nigerian Tribune. Oyo farmers, I beg your pardon, federal government tax farmers on hygienic products. And I have another story coming from page 16. It says, why Senate withheld El-Rufai, 2 others confirmation. Alake, Wike, Tunji Ojo, Party, others confirmed. The Senate on Monday declared 45 out of the 48 ministerial nominees sent to it by President Bola Tinubu. Those whose names were not mentioned were former Kaduna State Governor Malam Nasir El-Rufai, former Deputy Governor in Taraba State Abubakar Danladi, and Stella Okotete from Delta State. Shortly after reading out the names of the 45 nominees that were cleared, Senator Akpabio said, and I quote, "For the avoidance of doubt, we have confirmed 45 out of 48 sent to us by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The others are still awaiting clearance." Head of quote. If you are interested in that story, you can turn to page 16 of the Nigerian Tribune. Why Senate withheld El-Rufai, 2 others confirmation. Alake, Wike, Tunji Ojo, Party, Better Edu, and 40 others confirmed. I'll go quickly to the Nation newspaper, and I have the first story I'm going to take from page 2. It says, I sold jobs for 1.5 million naira at Charters Commission, says ex-worker. A former staff member of the Federal Charter Commission, FCC, Aloore Kolo, yesterday admitted before the House of Representatives ad hoc committee investigating job racketeering that he served as a front for collecting money from job seekers on behalf of the commission's chairman. Aloore said he collected between 1 million naira and 1.5 million naira from about 25 job seekers and sought employment in the commission. But FCC chairman Muhiba Dankaka swore by the Holy Quran that she never collected any money from Kolo. The agency chairman said she had never asked the ex-staff member to collect money from any job seeker on her behalf. Speaking at the resumed investigative hearing of the ad hoc committee on job racketeering, Dankaka said, and I quote, "If I have ever collected money from this Kolo or asked him to collect money on my behalf, may God destroy all that I have worked for." End of quote. If you are interested in that story, you can turn to page 2 of the Nation newspaper. I sold jobs for 1 million naira, 1.5 million naira at Charter Commission, says ex-worker. And on health, I have federal government donates anthrax vaccine to Lagos government. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development has donated free 50,000 doses of anthrax vaccines to the Lagos state government to mitigate the spread of the disease to animals and humans. Speaking during a visit to the State Ministry of Agriculture at Lagos Secretariat in Ikeja, the Permanent Secretary in the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, Dr. Ernest Umakaiye, urged the state government to enlighten the public on how to prevent and control the disease in the state. If you are interested in that story, you can turn to page 3 of the Nation newspaper. Federal government donates anthrax vaccine to Lagos state government. And the last story I'm going to take is still on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. WAEC withholds results of Zamfara, Niger, 6 others. The West African Examination Council, WAEC, has withheld the West African Senior School Certificate Examination, WASC, results of candidates from 8 states. The examination body said it took the action against the states because they refused to settle their debt. Addressing reporters yesterday in Lagos, WAEC's head of the Nigerian National Office, Patrick Ariagan, described Zamfara and Niger State as chronic debtors. He said Zamfara State did not present candidates for this year's examination, but did not give details about the other 6 states except saying that they would pay. About 8 states are owing WAEC. According to the court, we won't mention them all as some are going to pay. However, Zamfara and Niger are the biggest debtors. Zamfara did not present any candidates for this year's WAEC. And of course, if you are interested in that story, please turn to page 3 of the Nation newspaper. WAEC withholds results of Zamfara, Niger 6 others. And with that, we've come to the end of today's newspaper review on Aloore Radio. But you can, of course, like and share on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Aloore Radio. Our website remains www.alooreradio.com. For your adverts, placements, inquiries, you can call in on 09039 853731. 09039853731. I am Olukemi Omotosho. Thank you for listening and do have a wonderful day.
Iṣẹ́